Welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Hello, Spiritual Trailblazer. So happy to be here with you on this lovely day. And I am, as always, excited about this topic. I just love diving into certain topics because I know the impact it can have in one's life when applied. So let's get to it. This month is Spiritual Wellness Month. And part of wellness, especially in the spiritual sense, has to do with protection magic. And you may have seen this on social media, sayings like protect your energy at all costs. You might see that blue and white, protection eye, things like that. And someone may state on their social media that their social media is protected, things like that. So we're going to dive into that, some symbols, other types of protective magic that can help you along your way. I pulled an oracle card naturally to give you some insight on how you can go about getting more protection for yourself, okay, and your spiritual path. Also, I want to say that I had interviewed the Glamour Witch, Alexis Jackson, and we talked about hexing and other misconceptions. That's episode 284. And I was saying that because under protection magic, you can include hexing. And, hexing got a bad rap. I'm not going to get too much into it because, there's a whole 2-hour episode that goes into it. So definitely check that out. And I also say it because, as I was saying, hexing, sometimes people go, oh no. But remember, protection magic in its various forms came about because people needed protection. It's not like one day someone just woke up was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be mean today, and do something like protect myself in this horrible, no good, very bad way. No, that's not what happened. Okay, people were being abused, oppressed, etc., and protection needed to happen, or even protection from weather, things like that. All right. Last but not least, I have a protection magic series on my blog. Okay, so I do go a little bit deeper into crystals, books, etc. So go ahead and check that out. Right now, it's a 4-part series, and I will be adding more to that as we go along. So go ahead to blog.tiamariejohnson.com. So what is protection magic? What does that mean for you? I like to look at it twofold. Okay, so I like to look at it from the practical side first. And when you think about it, it's how we dive into building our defensive resources. Okay, and it's how we protect our energy. As I was saying earlier, our sanity is how we establish boundaries. It's how we break unhealthy relationships. So when you think about it, it's really about choosing yourself first. Okay. And if people have issues with that, they're saying, oh, you changed, or you're acting funny, or you're too good. They're just upset that they can no longer take advantage of you, that you're no longer available for them and their shenanigans. Okay, so I want to bring up a few common sense points, some of that practical stuff, because I explained how it helps. It helps with confidence. It helps with boundaries. Again, it helps you to stay firm in your decision-making practices. Okay, when you think about it, this layer of protection magic is very similar to when you get in a car. You have your seatbelt, you have your airbags, you have the brakes. Okay, the glass is reinforced. All right, so you have all these extra layers. So that's where protection magic comes in. It's not a substitute, it's an add-on. Okay. So a few things to keep in mind before we dive into this magic is to practice being aware of your surroundings. Believe in your intuition when something feels off. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not go to that party. Lock your doors and your windows. Don't tell everyone your business. Be careful about what you post on social media. For example, you want to post that you checked in somewhere, post it several days after you checked in, post it after you left. Okay. So be careful about posting in real time. As my pop said, you never know who's watching you. I know it's innocent to post pictures of you going on vacation and things like that, but be aware that people now know you're not home. Okay. So if you want to post a couple of days into the vacation, that's perfectly fine. I would advise that. Next is to, as much as possible, stay away from negative people who don't add value in your life. I understand many times people have wrote to me, how can they manage their negative aunt, their mother, father, whomever. Okay, so that's a conversation for another day. But as much as possible, minimize that time, or just whenever you can, stay away from them. Uh, Tell trusted people where you're going and who you're meeting when you're going for that meetup, that date, etc., in a well-lit place. Okay, so I just wanted to cover that. Those are the reminders. Okay, um, again, magic is not a substitute for common sense practices. Whew, now we got that out the way. We get to a little bit of the fun stuff. So one of my favorite forms of defense includes mirror magic, and I talk about this often. And mirror can mean many things. Okay, some people use mirror magic and glamour magic. Some people use mirror magic for seeing, scrying, things like that. In this case, we're going to use mirror magic to send the energy back from whence it came. So this is diving into visualization magic, and this is what I do mainly is when you thoroughly visualize what you want, okay, down to the T. Okay, so what you're going to visualize is a full length mirror. So however tall you are, if you're 5'3", if you're 6'1", okay, the mirror is the length of your body. And the reflective portion of the mirror is facing opposite of you. Okay. And the mirrors are surrounding you 360, all the way around, over top of your head. Okay. The complete thing. And what it does is it either captures the negative energy in the mirror, or it will reflect it, okay, and send it back to the person, at which time they can't take their own negative energy, right? So however form that takes going back to them, that's on them, right? And you don't have to worry about what that negativity is, because I just felt like there was a question that popped up. Well, how do I know if? Don't even worry about it. Okay. This will help you with psychic attacks, and various forms of negative energy as a whole. Okay. And also just people that are negative. So back to this mirror. Okay. The mirror can look any way you want it to look. I have it as a long rectangle with the frame, and is a golden frame. Okay. And it's adorned with images at the top of the mirror. And they're locked within each other. So there's no space between any of the mirrors. Like I said, complete surround you and also above you. So it's as if you have an umbrella, a very long umbrella mirror. Okay. And you don't have to say anything, but you can say, um, whatever you send to me gets sent back to you. So again, you can keep it very simple. I'm all about saying those quick, simple spells when you just need something quickly to get set up. So another way you can say it is by the land and by the sea, what negativity you send shall return to thee, so will it be. Okay, so again, it's just basically saying whatever you're sending this way, that's negative, you can have it back. Okay. This isn't about feeling guilty. This isn't about being sorry for someone. No longer are we feeling sorry for people who set up a situation, a bad situation, get called out, or they get put in their place, play the victim, and we have to worry about their feelings. Okay. Forgiveness is good, but people need to feel that sting first. What worth is forgiveness if you just accept everything all the time without accountability? Right. So if that person's having a bad day and they don't realize that they are spewing negative energy, speak up. Say, hey, you're going through something. Uh, you may want to take a time out for yourself. You may want to go for a walk. You know, that's not something that you realize you're doing, that spreading negative energy. You're taking it out on other people. Okay. And sometimes people realize it and they say, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. It's just this whole week's been a crazy week. My bad. Then other people, they're not trying to hear it. They want to play the victim. And that's when you got to figure out what are you going to do? Well, now it's time to set up some extra defenses. And you can start with that mirror magic. And then you can apply the practical magic I was saying, like, uh, saying no. This also goes towards not being always available. Okay. About calling people out. Okay. And when you do that, your defenses are only going to get stronger. So before I talk about your defenses getting stronger, because there are some practical ways to add to that, I want to read the card that I pulled for you. So I got the Three of Swords. And all of you who are into oracle cards and tarot, I know you're probably like, ugh. So it just states, so okay, I'll tell you the picture first. It's this bid there, and of course there are three swords, and it's raining outside. It's not a pretty, I mean, it can be a pretty picture depending on how you look at it. All right, let's get to the reading. All right, it states here, it is suggested that a previous heartbreak is influencing how you view the world. Is this a good thing keeping, or excuse me, yeah, is this a good thing keeping you from getting hurt, or is it holding you back from trusting others? If it is the present, ouch. So sorry. Maybe the situation can be repaired with better communication. Probably not, though. So, what can you learn? If it shows up in the future, and this is to my card placement, maybe you can act now. Okay, so this card is for the future, or for right now. So, we're not going to talk about the future. So, let me actually state the present now. Let me go back. Okay. Maybe the situation can be repaired with better communication. Probably not, though. Keeping you from getting hurt again or holding you back from something, from trusting others. In defensive magic, we have to be conscious of how we're doing this, because what we are doing is setting up very firm, very strong barriers with people who are putting negativity in our life, but also just to keep our peace. It isn't always about a person who's wronged us. Sometimes it's just about witnessing other things in other people's lives and saying to ourselves, man, I don't want that to happen to me. So I'm going to put these practices into place. That's totally fine too. The thing is, it tends to be people who act shitty towards someone else who has to do this, right? Because when you think about it, we all start off pretty at an even kill tone when it comes to making a friend, right? We have a little toy, or someone has a toy, they want to share the toy, ride bikes. I don't know what kids do these days. So I'm speaking from late 80s, early 90s. Ride bikes, stuff like that, until something happens. And then it's, man, I don't even know if I can trust anyone. Who can I trust? What type of people can I trust? All these questions start coming to mind. And that's why I want to circle back to how we can build up our strength to make this defensive magic powerful. Now, this again falls on the practical side. The practical magic is the logical, more reasoning side. For example, when we talk about confidence building, boundaries building, it's not so esoteric, right? Boundaries, confidence. as opposed to, working with the deity. It's like, wait, how do you do that? Who is that? So ways you can, beef up your strength to really reinforce how strong your barriers are, right? Because it's not just building, establishing confidence, protection, things like that. We got to maintain it, right? Think about it. Even when you hear wealthy people get asked a question about their money, they tell you, you got to also maintain it. So, exercising is one of them. Okay. Implementing a daily ritual is another way to do it. So that's you drinking your tea in the morning in your peaceful setting. Okay. Maybe it's quiet for you in the morning. You got about a good maybe 10 minutes to drink your tea in peace or coffee in peace. You can do that. A morning walk, getting a breath of fresh air, maybe going to your front door. Okay. Opening windows, letting fresh air in, dancing, having sex, getting control of your finances, all these things that help build up confidence, all these things that help you get more in tune to yourself, all these things that help you be you unapologetically. And that's what's building up your strength. And I'm not even talking, and this isn't limited to protect your magic. If you want to cast a spell, communicating with people, all that helps. Okay, so we talked exercise, going for a walk, get a breath of fresh air, swimming, any activities that get you moving, dancing. And if you are someone who can't dance because for whatever reason, there's what's the word I'm looking for? There's I don't want to say issue, but there's a something going on where, okay, pause. Josh, you can remove that part, all that. Yeah, so if there's something going on where you're not able to walk or swim, imagine your soul dancing. Imagine you dancing. Remember, I'm very much so into visualization magic. So visualize that. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like? Okay, really dive into that imagination. Writing. Are you a writer? Do you love poetry? Read. Things that nurture your soul will strengthen you. Okay. Your mind is what makes this happen, right? So strengthen your mind. Is that a word puzzle for you? Sudoku, whatever it is. So you get the picture. All right. Now back to this card where it says maybe you can communicate, maybe not. Discernment has to come in. Whenever you're using protection magic, you have to use your discernment. Okay. Sometimes you can communicate with people. You can tell them what's going on, not just necessarily your perspective, but here are the facts. Here are the facts. I pulled the receipts. You may not like it. You can tell me your perspective, but that's not the truth because I have receipts. Okay. And some people you just can't talk to, and you have to just cut your law. It's not a loss, actually, but you just got to call it and walk away. And you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with that. All right. So the top of the card says, "Oh, my achy breaky heart." Sometimes heartbreak is unavoidable. The least you can do is learn from it. Okay, and yeah, just focus on that. So whatever led you to this point where you are brought to this episode is an indication of some boundaries that need to be established, some protection magic that needs to be put up. But also, this is telling you that, yeah, your heart was broken. Yeah, you felt some type of way, but this doesn't mean that you can't have that relationship that you truly want with someone else, not that person. Or you might already have it and you're grateful for it. And this is just reaffirming how powerful that other friendship you have. Okay. And yeah, that's basically what the top part of this card talks about. And the image is really crazy. It's three swords and a heart, like stabbed in the like those Valentine's Day heart boxes. That's what it looks like. It looks like there's a raven in the back in the rain trying to fly. There's a journal with spilled ink on the bed and a feathered pen. Right. So this may be even a good time for you to write out your feelings, in a way that you can also protect what you're writing, So I mentioned this before. There are ways you can protect your documents. So, your phone, for the Apple users, we can swipe to lock the note in our phone so people can't access it. Okay. You can lock your Word documents, right click, and there's a way you can lock it. I believe there's a way you can lock your pages on your Apple computer. So look into how you can protect your writing so you can really just express your feelings without fear of someone reading them. Okay. Excuse me. And I want to give you a book recommendation. So one of my favorite books for protection magic is Practical Protection Magic by Ellen Dugan. It's ELLNDUGAN. Practical Protection Magic. I love it because it's an easy read. Great things in there. She talks about emotional vampires, okay, to cleansing and hexing. And also help you with psychic awareness, all of which are very important because there are many ways people will try to take your energy, and psychic vampirism is definitely one of them. That's also a conversation for another day. I did talk about psychic vampires on my YouTube channel and psychic werewolves on Tia Violet. So that's TIAVIOLET. So you can go check out that video. So anyway, let's talk about the types because I touched a little bit on how various ways people can try to take your energy, right? The psychic vampirism, people just spewing negative energy all over the place when in turn they're taking your energy by releasing their negative energy. They're just another form of psychic vampirism, but whatever. So let's talk about other ways you can protect yourself. We have symbols, crystals, sigils. I mentioned hexing, herbs and salts, working with deities. So I'm not going to go all the way into each and every one of them. That's going to be a very long episode. What I will say is this. The more research you do, the more you will learn what best fits for you. So for example, symbols. I talked about that eye, that protective eye, that blue and white eye that you see a lot on social media. You can use that as a necklace. You can place that somewhere in your home, at your front door. There are many ways you can use symbols, okay? You can place them just about anywhere. Crystals. You can create a crystal grid, okay? Whether you want to have 5 crystals, for example, a crystal at each bedpost and one in the middle, underneath the bed. I put crystals, black tourmaline over my windowsill or on my windowsill, over my door, okay? So you don't even have to have a crystal grid. You can have a couple of crystals lined up somewhere. You can have one crystal somewhere. It's really up to you what you're feeling at the moment. You can add more crystals, take away. And there's a lot to go with that too. Some crystals were better than others. Okay, but it's a learning process like anything else. But as long as you follow your intuition, you really can't go wrong. And I talked about sigils. So yeah, there are books that tell you how to make a sigil. So basically you get a word together and you would remove, I believe, like the vowels, and then you would connect the letters. I mean, there's lots of tutorials about it. The Witch of Southern Light is all about sigils. So you can follow him on Instagram. He's also on TikTok. I actually follow his Patreon too, so he's really good. Then you have herbs and salts. Okay, so you have black pepper, you have salt that you can use. There's regular salt. Well, I don't want to say regular salt, but because there's like Himalayan salt. There's different types of salt you can use for different types of protection. Same thing with herbs, and then work with deities. I work with goddess Hecate for protection, among other things. And of course, you can work with others. I always ask Archangel Michael to protect my family, friends, and our property, all our possessions. Okay, so you can do that because Archangel is the chief angel of protection. He protects those also who defend others, like military, police officers, firefighters. Okay, protecting people, getting them out of fires and things like that. So, yeah, so that's what I have for you. Just I want to say it was quick, but I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun. I love talking about protection magic. I definitely have more book recommendations coming your way. So I'll probably do a TikTok about it, just, show you the books. I'm a visual learner, so that's just really easy. You can just take a snapshot of it and then show the person, I'm looking for this book. Oh man. All right. Spiritual Trailblazer. I hope you learned a lot from this. There's nothing wrong with you protecting yourself and your energy. There's nothing wrong with you adding on the extra layer. There's nothing wrong with you establishing boundaries and confidence levels that are for your benefit, just crazy healthy, uh, really allowing you to be in your own space to grow. And it's none, I don't even want to say it's none of your business, but I will say this: don't worry about other people's feelings when you are growing, when you are transforming, because if someone has an issue with that, if someone's trying to play the victim with that, someone's acting like they don't want to understand and things like that, that means they don't want you to grow. That means that they want you to stay in a spot where you're questioning yourself, where you're constantly trying to figure, I don't know, should I do this? Should I do that? Where they think they have this hold on you, and you are there because you're nice, you care, okay. But let this be the time to reevaluate as we are approaching the season of spring. I mean, well, we already are in spring, but the official start of spring. It's time to clean house. It's time to clean house. So let's get that started. Let's get some strong defenses up, protect that, and let people earn the right to be in our space, for real, because we are great people and we can't be wasting our time with people who are unappreciative. All right, so let that protection magic help you in that process. All right, I am sending you so many blessings. I love you. I'm always rooting for you. Remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time, Spiritual Trailblazer. As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.